Bonjour, hola, hello, hello, guys. Shadventus here. And what has it been? A year? Probably. It's probably been a year. I I cannot explain the hiatus I've been on. I really just actually yes I can. It's just I haven't really thought of anything of what to do on. So if for my own sake, we after this we well during this you can write in the comments or just text me. What video should I make? Because I need videos to make, um, just so I can keep this YouTube channel a thing. So, what do we have for today? Today we have misconceptions about psych wards, and what experience I have with this? I've been to one twice, so I have I haven't been to long term. All I can say for this video is what happens during short term, which is like a week at most. 10 days really at most, but a week. So right here I have 7 misconceptions or 7 myths about psych wards. And before we start, we're just gonna think any type of thing that you think of a psych ward or mental hospital, pretty sure that if you see one in the movies, just disregard that entirely because it's nothing like that at all. And if it is the case, then that place needs to be shut down right now. Let's move on to the first one. Number one, everyone is in the Loomy bin or is a drooling zombie. So basically, you're, let's see, when you first get there, you're probably going to get there at varying times of the day. Every time I went, it was early in the morning or late at night. And by early in the morning, I mean really early where there is no sunlight, so like 3 in the morning. Um, so when I first went there, like, of course you don't know anybody there. I mean, I hope you don't know anybody there. You start the day off with vitals, and that's where you do blood pressure. What else did they do? They check you, see if you have any symptoms from any medication that you may take, any symptoms just in general, like if you have a headache or stomach ache. Um, and then you just wait. You just wait around until it's time to go breakfast. Um, which basically, at first, the first day you really don't do anything there, or at least I didn't do anything there because I didn't know anybody. So my partially uncultured self didn't talk to anybody. And people thought it was scary, especially like after the first like 2 days, because when you're there for a week, it feels like a lifetime already. It already feels like a lifetime. You lived the double life there. So within 2 days, you're already hanging out with people and you made your little clique. Um, and it's pretty much lively. Do we make jokes? Do we make really dark jokes about things that we shouldn't be? Yes, but what else are we gonna do? The ones I were at, um, we didn't have phones, so we had no outside communication, no outside contact whatsoever. And or actually, we did have outside contact. We had one phone call um, throughout the day, um, and that was only whoever was on the list that we had for ourselves. And the only people that could be on the list are parents. Some people didn't want to talk to their parents, so really we just went the day without talking to anybody apart from people that are inside the psych ward with us. Sure, there are people who like people obviously don't want to be there, but there are people who make it really obvious they don't want to be there. So it's just like they'll just disregard the activities that we do because they have plenty of activities for you to do. Um, Plenty of activities to do without a phone. Nobody's really down if I really think about it. There was this one kid, he scared us. You're always gonna have that one crazy kid. Anyway, moving on to the next one. Mental patients are violent and dangerous. Like I said before, we're not it's not really there. And sadly in most cases, most of us are in the psych ward for suicide reasons. Sure, there are the cases where there is a possible like homicidal threat, but that's like outnumbered by the suicide. Like, yeah. Um, so yeah, it's like you like I said, you do get like those one or two crazy people. There's not really much to say about this one. No, on to number three. Staff will force pills down your throat. They actually legally cannot do that. The only way they could give you medication is one with your consent, and they need both your consent and your parents' consent. Mostly your parents' consent, but yeah, like they can't force you to take medication. And if they do force you to take medication, then you could definitely sue them. I never really had been forced to take medication because by the time I went there for my first time, I was already taking medication. And when I went there, they just added more medication on. But they already talked to my parents beforehand. So, yeah, there was this one kid, Missy Mitt, um, and like they had to like get medication, but like the doctors forced it upon them. And so I don't know what they did with that. For all I knew, they probably sued them. For all I knew, they probably left it alone. So we're going to move on to myth four. ECT or electroconvulsive therapy is scary and a violent punishment. I never had it, and the places that I went to, they never did it. So, like, I really don't have much to say on it. But when I'm reading this from, I'll read you their experience. In my experience, I walked into a treatment room, laid down, and was given anesthesia, so I wouldn't feel a thing. And the next thing I knew, I was in the recovery room. It was still a challenging and emotional experience. I've had trouble with my memory ever since, but I wasn't awake and zapped into submission. So really, it's it's not a punishment. It's really not a punishment. It's used for people with clinical depression or bipolar disorder. And yeah, it, it wasn't that bad. Um, or I can't say it was that bad because I never had it. So moving on to number five. All hospitals are the same. They keep you locked inside without access to fresh air. That is far from the truth. You are inside most of the day, but you do get outside time. We're like each place is different. The first place I went to, I will admit, it looked like a prison courtyard. It was just cinder blocks. It was just a cinder block wall. It was just a small little thing, and there's not much to say about that. But the second place I went to, there was an outside, like not field, but like there were benches. Like I can't say much. Like it looked nice, but but would you know what the 6 year olds did there? Yes, there were 6 year olds there. Yeah, it's not much. You really don't want to know what they did. You really don't want to know what they did. Number six, you're stripped of your gadgets and denied contact with the outside world. No, well, this person says they got to keep their gadgets, and not every psych ward or mental hospital is the same. So I'm going to believe on the fact that they said that they get to keep their gadgets. So moving on to my experience, I never got to keep my phone. They took my phone when I went to the hospital. Like because in both my scenarios, um, or both my cases, I went to the emergency room first, and then I went to the psych ward. I went to the emergency hospital, and then they took my phone, and then they gave it to my parents. And so my parents had my phone the whole time while I was there. Nobody had their phone. You only get one phone call, and that's on the little wall phones that they have, looking like an actual prison. Um, but yeah, it wasn't that bad. It was actually kind of nice being away from my phone, but I could see because like I know some people who are they've admitted to where they're addicted to their phone. I do not think they'll survive. Or if they do survive, I think they'll be miserable. So yeah, some cases, especially the ones where I am, like you don't really get to keep your phone or any electronics. And like I said, the only outside contact that you get is like to your parents or your guardian. Moving on to the final one. You will go home cured. No. Um, as much as I would love to say that you get to go home feeling better and you will never go to a psych ward again, Some cases you will never have to go to psych ward again. Other cases, you're going to have to go. Like I said, I've been twice. And like I've been taking therapy. I have numerous therapists. Um, and yeah, it's not an easy step. And it's you're not going to go home cured. You may feel better in that moment, depending on like what your home situation is like. Let's say you went in for suicidal thoughts. Oh, not now I'm just I go in and after like 6, 7 days, oh I'm feeling all better and oh I'm not gonna have these thoughts ever again in my life. That's setting yourself for unrealistic standards. Very unrealistic standards. What I try to do for myself is realize I'm here because of what I said or what I've done. And it made people worry enough to where they're going to send me here, in which this place is going to help me. I am putting my faith in this business, in this facility, that they're going to help me. So, is to make putting that comfort onto myself makes me realize that, oh, I'm not doing that. I'm not alone in this. I have people who are here to support me. So they'll give you like therapists to talk to outside of the facility, like when you're done with them. I never taken them because like after that, then my school provided me with a therapist, and not all schools are going to provide you with a therapist. I'm just very lucky that they did that. Um, so yeah, yeah, not cured. I'm really not cured. I'm taking medicine, taking antidepressants and antipsychotics. Just for those who may be curious, here's a like timeline of the things that we do day by day. Um, you start off with vitals. Like I said at the beginning, that's where you do um what's called blood pressure, do sometimes they'll stab you, well not stab, but like they'll they'll get your blood from you, um, and like they'll ask you about symptoms that you may have, how your night was, and whatnot, and like sometimes if you're there for like um well, you're typically not there for eating disorder, but if you had an eating disorder and you're there, then they're probably going to check your weight too, and they're probably going to check heavily if you're eating. But that's all in the morning. And while you wait for everybody to get their vitals done, then um, you like depending on how long you're there for, you play cards with people. You play cards a lot. I cannot express it enough. You find a deck of cards, and that's all you're going to be playing there. Find makeup games. It's also quite fun. But you color, um, draw, play cards, talk, I guess. There's, again, there's not much to do without your phone, but or like any electronics whatsoever. But it's not like I said, it was nice for me to not have my phone for a week. Breakfast, you have breakfast, very simple. You eat, you sit at a table that's designated for two people, so it's just you and one other person. Um, Sometimes if you're nice to the people or nice to the nurses, they'll let you sit at the four people table. Medications. You have morning medications where they wait till after you finish eating so you don't take pills on an empty stomach. Group, which is where, as in the name says, you have the whole group. They typically you work on goals in the morning, and like work on goals, setting them, setting realistic expectations, etc. around those things. And that's about an hour and a half to hour and a half. Then you go to lunch, I believe. Again, very simple. You eat, and if you're nice, they'll let you sit at the four-person table, but you gotta be really nice. And even if you're really nice, they probably still won't let you sit at this four-person table. But whatever. Outside slash activities, depending on whether or not it's raining. Um, if you go outside, they probably give you a ball and not even like let's say a football, they'll give you like a foam football so you don't hurt yourself. Everything is foam and soft there. apart from like the little beach ball things that they got. Then if you go to activities, then they'll probably, because the second one I went to, they had a Wii, they had drawing, um, football. Volleyball is very popular there, so I didn't play that, but volleyball is very popular there. So volleyball, um, and of course, just simply talking. Um, the first one, like it was okay. It wasn't as much to do there, but just had the simple talk, draw, color, whatever. After activity, then you have reflection. Reflection is where you and your possible roommates, you could opt for a single room. If if you really can't handle being with another person, you could opt for a single room. Um, that is closer to the nurses. Um, so they have like close eye on you. But reflection is where you and your possible roommate go into your room for about an hour, hour and a half, and like not just sit there, you could sleep. I At the second place I went to, I started a workout group. So like even though we couldn't go in the hallway, you peep your head out and you can see everybody working out. And so it's just a positive thing for us to do, keep us distracted, so we don't just spend our day sleeping. After reflection, then we have goals again, and this one is like where it's just a general activity. You probably ask questions, probably do most agree to least agree. Um, at the first place I went to, we had music therapy. It was really fun. And yeah, it's like a general activities. You're not really working on anything. You're always working on something. It's more so like positive things, and you're explaining your way of life or explaining your thought process of life. Then you would have dinner. Lunch will probably be the heaviest thing to eat. So then we eat dinner. This is probably usually something light. You would think that the meals would be switched around, um, but whatever. They want you to be sleepy by the time dinner happens. So you eat dinner, and then you have one more group, and then you take night medications. Really, I forgot, you take medications after lunch too, but you had night medications, and all I had to do is take day and night medications. I didn't have any afternoon medications. After that, then you have snack. The first place I went to, we had crackers, the occasional cereal, and what was it, ice cream. Had that every day. The second place I went to, we had cereal and bananas. But yeah, it wasn't that bad. On both occasions, I tried to make myself healthy, so I really didn't have anything. I didn't have much sugar. Um, the snacks, I really didn't have much. Ice cream is, yeah, I was just trying to keep myself healthy, giving myself a goal to work towards while I was in there. Um, yeah. Then after snack, then you just chill out for about 30 minutes to an hour, really an hour, if they want to be nice. But yeah, then you have nap time, or not nap time. You have bedtime. Um, but let's see, before, oh, I forgot about showers. Showers are after dinner. Yeah, they want you getting tired, and you're not allowed in your roommate's room in some places while they're taking a shower, which is understandable. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much what you do. It's not really scary. I do have a book that I wrote while I was in there, and granted, it's in crayon, but it's it was still like interesting to write. That was my first time there when I wrote in that book. But yeah, that's what you do in a day. And there's some myths that me and this author debunked. So yeah. Alright guys. Be yourself, stand out, be open, and it'll all be okay. Whew, it's been a while since I've done the outro, but peace out.